Welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris. We're back again for a bit of Temptation Island, Season 3, Episode 10, and we start off, we get the continuation from last week where Mark comes along and says, you know, you've got to say goodbye to the girls. You know, he's saying this to our boys in the couples. What do you make of all of that?
Well, Dave, you know, I like a bit of milk. I have a bowl of porridge every day, a few cups of tea, a bit of coffee. I do love a bit of milk, Dave, but they are milking this fucking cow for as much as they can. Why is this spread over 2 episodes? Really? You know, it's nonsense. This is part 1 of the final Bonfires. Mark comes in, we get the goodbyes for the guy, for the girls, and it's sort of like on your way. You know, they go, you know, you've got Kendal there, you've got all them. You've got the girls in the same situation. They're all going, you know, there was a conversation with Corey and Amanda, you know, and she's saying like, I'm glad I've met you. We understand you. She was genuinely upset about that situation. I don't know what it is with him, but he seems devoid of emotion, which we do find out later. But the whole thing, Julian, Dave, sort of giving Tula the fucking consolation prize. Do you really think that Kristen's going to be dead happy that every time he thinks of his fucking engagement or wedding ring, he's thinking of Tula? I thought, what a knobhead. She's going to be watching this like, why have you said that? You know, like he's thinking of another woman. I was like, Julian, keep it quiet, mate. So yeah, it just was just fucking rubbish. One of these episodes, there was not a lot going on, really.
There wasn't, and you know I like to take my notes, but you know I've hardly taken any for this one because they're just replaying. It's almost like you know, like when they have episodes when you're watching a bit of Family Ties back in the day, Chris, and they'll have one of these episodes where they just recount things that have happened in the past. You know, yeah. It felt a little bit like that. I did laugh though when Julian was going on to Tula about the ring, and I was thinking, oh yeah, I'm sure Tula's delighted. You know, I'm sure that's what she's come on Temptation Island for, to help you pick out a fucking ring. But yeah, I agree on Corey as well. You know what? Amanda comes across like she's fairly genuine, and she does kind of have feelings for him, but she's not been aggressive or pushy with it at all. And so I did feel a little bit sorry for her in that goodbye.
Yeah, she seems like a lovely girl, Dave, and she didn't do anything to overstep the mark with Erin either, which we thought was nice. So, yeah, I think out of all the girls who've gone, she's the one that you sort of go, you know what, fair enough, no problem. She's there on the outside. They're all saying we'll see you in LA. At the end of it, obviously, what we're going to get is we're going to get 11 episodes. This episode 10, 11, and we're going to get a reunion, episode 12. That's usually when it kicks off, because we will see the truth now of who. We don't know the decisions yet, obviously, till next week. You know, not the decisions. We know Corey and Erin. They're the only ones we know of, but the other 3 couples we don't know yet. So yeah, really, really interesting. And I think like with Tom as well and Sophia, not buying any of that at all. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that relationship one bit. There's no fucking way that they're still following each other on Instagram. If they come out and they're still in love, I am going to look like an absolute bellend, Dave. So I'll hold my hands up, but I don't believe that for a minute.
No, I can't see it with them too. Like I say, they are literally the opposite sides of America, aren't they? Yeah. You know, she's in Florida. She's in Miami, I think, isn't she? She's a makeup artist. He's across in LA. How's that going to work? I think, you know, he could move there or she could move. I just don't actually see it happening. I think it'll be a very... It's going to be a holiday romance, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. I think you call that absolutely perfect. I think as well, like, looking at Kendal there with Alexis, there is something there between him, Dave. As much as I'm not... You know, I'm not bought into the whole Kendal thing. He just seems to not give a shit and has cheated on her. And I think with Alexis, but there is something between them both. He seems genuine. He wants to have that conversation with Erika. So let them do it. I don't think, like I said last week, Alexis has got no leg to stand on the way she's behaved. And I sort of, you know, later on we have that discussion finally between Kendal and Erika. But yeah, so they all go, and then you've got it with the women. Chelsea again, Dave, so righteous. Chelsea's like oblivious to what she's done. You know, Tom, I'm not saying what Tom did, 2 wrongs make a right, but he didn't go in on Sophie. I think he'd been waiting. I don't think he's as innocent as he says, he was calculated and hoping that Chelsea would slip. And once she did, he went straight in there with Sophia. It was literally within hours. But Chelsea's so virtuous and righteous about it, Dave. But if they're all happy, let them fucking get on with it, because I don't give a shit about them four, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think so. What did Chelsea say? She says she's the only one who's made a connection like this. And she's all teary and everything. And old cheesy bollocks there, fucking Blake, is giving his best cheesy lines. And I just don't buy any of it at all. I mean, I think Erika might say something about, her connection with Jesse. But, again, she's probably just forgotten about all the fakeness that she called out in Blake. That's just swept under the carpet. They've got a massive connection now, apparently. So, yeah, I've got to admit, though, I can't wait for Tom and Chelsea to
I can't.
For next week and them to meet at the bonfire. I just... Predictions, though, on how it will go. I mean, she's still going to blame him for everything, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. It's going to be all of her behaviour is a reaction to his behaviour with Sophia.
Yeah.
It seemed to be once Tom was rubbing the cream all over Sophia's arse, that's when it kicked in, that she was like, oh, fuck this. And then it escalated with Blake. But look,
she was fucking twerking away.
I know.
She was fucking flirting away from day one. And she was behaving in a way that she would be calling Tom out for.
Exactly. No, I'm not saying I don't disagree with you, but I'm saying that is going to be her play, Dave. She will be bringing that to the table. You're on his soapbox.
Okay, I'll wind my neck in now.
I'm with you completely, but I honestly think that's going to be her play. Any effort to discredit Tom and totally deflect away from what she's done. The old saying, Dave, when one finger's pointing at you, there's usually two pointing back at them, and she knows exactly what she's doing. But I tell you what I have a big issue with, Dave, right? We've all been in and out relationships. Obviously I've been in a long-term relationship and all that, but it's these buzzwords that get used now, like, oh yeah, with Erin and that guy breaking down the walls. You hear this all the time on these fucking stupid reality shows where it's like, as much as I love reality stuff, yeah, he's really breaking down the walls and all this. And it's like, what are you talking about? That you're cold-hearted? What does that mean? It's just a buzz fucking word, isn't it? It's just it's like management speak, really.
You know what? I'd have to search because no doubt this kind of thing probably exists already. But just in case it doesn't, I reckon we should start putting together our own reality TV bullshit bingo. And we'll have these different phrases, breaking down the walls, being vulnerable. I've
evolved as a person.
Going on a journey. Yeah. I'm now stronger. And I reckon the only thing will be to keep it small enough. What do you reckon? A 3x3 grid or 4x4? I don't know. I reckon there's a few in there. Once we start putting them in there,
I tell you what, the phrase that is a great way of doing bingo. But I'm telling you now, everyone listening and me and you, once this show is finished and out there, we need to go on the Instagram bingo motivational fucking speeches. Let's go on there and find out how many people on this show have posted some utter bullshit motivational speak that they've nicked off Google. Like one of them, the sun is rising, so I am rising with it, and I'm going to be a better person today. All that fucking nonsense. You learn from your mistakes and grow as a person. We're going to get it all, Dave. All that fucking bollocks.
Grow or grown. GOWN, but for me it's GOAN. GR, even GR out there, not gone. Fucking idiot. Right. But I've come from a place over there and I'm so much stronger and better now here. Fast forward 12 months, I am so much stronger now. Oh, it's such bollocks.
You know what, though, Dave? Like, so we end up with our first bonfire. So we get Correy and Erin together, and we get the build-up. And I was a bit unsure because Erin seemed genuinely pleased to see Correy, and she was like, "Hiya, you're right." And he just sits there, doesn't get up, he doesn't hug her, and I'm like, "Wow!" And this is what I think most of and she does admit to all this in this conversation, but I think a lot of it is because he's got no fucking personality, has he? He doesn't emote to anything. However, what I have an issue with in this whole meeting between them two is not with them two, it's with Mark fucking Walberg. Because they're going through it. She openly admits that she basically reacts to him. She pushes him away because she doesn't want to get hurt. She's taking out on him everything that her exes have done to her because she's been extremely hurt. He sort of starts standing up for himself. All of a sudden, Mark Wahlberg becomes a fucking... like he's his defense lawyer and just starts tearing strips off her. Well, are you going to put up with bullying? And I'm like, wow. Are you? And I'm thinking, I hope you're going to do this with the rest of the couples, Mark, because he really started, all that fucking fake sunscreen was coming off his face. The suntan he had on. It was just, I was like, he was getting really emotional about it. And I'm thinking, he digged her out, called her a bully and everything. And I'm thinking, I've got no problem. Go on.
Did he call her a bully?
He did, about bullying. You're bullying people, you're bullying him and all this. That's what she said. That's what he said.
Intimidating he was talking about.
Honestly, he said the bullying word.
Did
I
he
promise.
say bully?
Honestly,
Oh,
yeah,
right,
honestly,
okay,
he did. Because I was sat there going, you bastard. Not that if she is, she is. And that's a massive problem in their relationship. But he started laying into her. And I'm not saying that she didn't deserve it because she openly admitted that she's been an absolute bitch with him. But I was like, wow, you've just done this on live, on national TV. You've basically called a girl a bully. Honestly, watch it again, Dave, because it really stuck out for me. And then all of a sudden, the next clip, they were kissing and he's there fucking like he's Cilla Black and he's just fucking put the couple of the century together. I was like, what qualifies you to just go in on someone like that? Because what I've got an issue with, I've not got a problem with him going in on her because she obviously, there is issues there. She openly admits it. Is he going to be as fucking militant with the other couples? I don't fucking think so. I think Julian will fucking body slam him if he spoke to him like that, Dave.
He could do, but I'm sure he wouldn't. I see it completely differently. I thought he was right to call Erin out there. Actually, no, he didn't even call Erin out initially. What he did was, Erin said that, the chap, what was his name? Joan or something. Joanne. I couldn't quite figure out what his name was the only one who kind of, asked him the difficult questions. And he said to Erin that he's the only person that she can't intimidate. And so that was telling her that, she is a bit intimidating. And the fact that Mark then asked Corey, do you get intimidated by Erin? And he's like, no. Come on, Chris. He was right to call that bullshit out. Because as soon as he said no, I was the same. I'm like, fuck off. There's no way. Of course you're intimidated.
Yeah,
and I thought he was right to call that out. Now, if he's used the bully word, all right, might have gone a bit far. But I thought he had it spot on there. You don't need a degree in psychology to see what was happening there. She is so outgoing and outspoken that I still... Great, they've walked off together, decided to stay together and everything. But from that point, in all of the outro and everything, when they're talking out... Well, I say they... When she's talking outside, when she's talking in the car, she's doing all the talking. She's don't fucking shut up. And he doesn't say a fucking word.
Yeah.
So, they've ended up staying together, but I've still got a doubt in my mind whether they're actually compatible or not. And when they both said, they're going to go off the island together, I think Erin said it first. And he sort of said, well, I'm going to go with my girl. And he went to grab her, because she'd been saying about wanting to feel safe and wanting to feel protected. She basically wants a manly man, Chris. He sort of went to grab her and pull her towards him, but he didn't have the strength, and she sort of just sat her ground and didn't move at all. I just thought it looked bloody hilarious, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm sort of glad they've decided they've identified some issues that they're going to work on, but I've got to say I'm not convinced.
No, honestly, no. I think I probably worded it. I was more annoyed at Mark Wahlberg. these two have got no fucking chance, Dave, because she does control him. He is shit scared of her. It was just Mark's tone. He really laid into him like he was Corey's defense lawyer, and I really thought, well, I don't get why you're being so aggressive towards her. If she's is that way, and I believe she is, she admitted it. So look, if you're big enough to admit something like that on national TV like she did, he felt as if he was just kicking her while she was down to me, Dave. But he is right to call her out. What he said was right. He does think you went a bit too far. And that's why I think the next minute, as you would say, Dave.
Yeah, I didn't see it that way. I did think he was being awkward, but deliberately awkward. I didn't think he was overstepping the mark there. I think he was just giving a bit of tough love. But I'd have to go back to watch it to look for that, which of course I'm not going to
do. Me neither, Dave. But there you go.
But no, I think I think I'm sitting on the side of he was right to call Corey out, and I saw it more of an attack on him than attacking Erin, and I think that's why my focus was on him. But yeah, now that I'm replaying it back in my mind a little bit, maybe he did go a bit hard in on Erin, but I mean, she's not fucking arsed. She's not bothered at all. Like I say, she's a very different type of personality to him. Yeah. And so I'm not as certain as you that they've got no chance in the future. I just think they're probably just a bit too different. So they'll work on stuff for a bit. They'll make stuff better, but does it have a long-term future? Just not sure. I'm going to go 65-35. So 65 that they won't make it, 35 that they will.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. I think one thing I would say, Dave, so we're going on now. There's only two couples we get to meet around the bonfire tonight who are reunited. For me to say, reunited even. Kendal and Erika. So we're waiting for this big showdown, aren't we? This big, really giving him a piece of her mind. And it was just like a damp squib, really. I mean, Kendall sat there. He's there for Erika's there. The talking, he brings in again the no rules thing and all that. And obviously he has to speak to her first, right? So he does. And then it's her turn to speak. And what I would say is, I think she did say stuff to him because she sort of countered what he'd said and was like, I don't really think you've got a leg to stand on after what you've done and all this. But again, Kendall starts asking her why she kissed that guy. And he's like, that's when she collared him. And it's like, well, you've slept with two people in a threesome, as well as having a relationship in there. Her kissing one guy was well past what you did. So I couldn't work that out. He really was upset and proper saw his ass. But they were too friendly, I thought. What he's done to her, I thought it's still playing on my mind that these aren't even a couple, Dave, because she let him off the hook too easy, I thought.
I agree. It was all too cordial. And he wasn't upset. He was just, his ego was a bit bruised. That's what that was. Yeah. He's like, oh, how dare. He'd even said, was it a couple of episodes ago? There's no way she'd go with anyone else. She'd be daft. And, there's no one better than me kind of thing. So, I think he played it. I'm afraid we've called it right. He's done exactly what we thought he'd do. Again, he's talked about making himself emotionally available. That's what he's worked on. But I fucking wanted her to lay into him, to be honest, Chris. And she was just so measured, like it was some nice conversation about where do you want to have dinner tonight or something. It was very, very strange. And there was... I think I couldn't figure out, is she just trying to hold back because if she lost it, she would properly fucking lose it. So she wants to, rise above it all and just, But I fucking love the question, Chris, where she's like, so, what exactly have you worked on yourself? You say you're emotionally available. So, how does sleeping with a couple of other people help you with that. You know? He didn't have any good answers. And I think even more than his ego getting a bit bruised, this is a classic kind of gaslighting technique, though, isn't it? You know, he's flipping the spotlight around. It's on him, he doesn't like it. He's flipping the spotlight around on her, and he's trying to deflect the conversation to start making it about her kissing some bloke on the last date. Gotta say, Chris, looked a little bit more than that from what we saw from Erika and Jesse, but whatever, we're just talking about the conversation now. So yeah, and I think they were intentionally teeing this up for next week, so we're all going to be a little bit, I can't wait till next week, because it looks like the door's almost open. She's even said to him in this conversation that, you know, she loves him, you know, so much. And it's like, that's not an appropriate thing to discuss, like, right now. I don't think, you know. And yeah, I'm just a bit disappointed. I thought she should and would have been well within her rights to rain down the fire. And, you know, it's not... The thing is with Kendal, you know, is in a monologue, you know, when she's talking about what he's learned and everything, is in a monologue's probably like, look, I had a fucking great threesome. I have had the time of my fucking life here. So I just have to see out this next scene and then I'm done, you know? So, like we've said before, if it wasn't for Kendal, it'd be a bit bloody boring this season, wouldn't it? And I don't think the season's held up, you know, against the previous two, just in terms of drama and people behaving badly. So, you know, it's a good job he's been on this. But, yeah, I think this conversation all went the way we thought it would, apart from, you know, Erika not really going for him a bit more.
Yeah, I think so. I think the actual producers have done to us what they do to the contestants. They've left it on a, you know, like when they show the little clip of like their other spouses with someone.
Next?
Yeah, 1 minute she's telling him she loves him, and then she smiles at him. Tune in next week, and I was like, oh come on, I'm not that fucking interested, really. I'll be honest, I'm not. But I'll be tuning in next week, Dave, and I'll be there hoping that Erika comes to her fucking senses, because otherwise, I'm like, what is the point of this show if that's the case? But we'll see. No, Dave.
I like. So before we move on. I like how he just writes it off as poor decision making. I mean, fuck me. You know, we're the British ones here. We talk about the understatement of the week. So yeah, I did like that one.
It's excellent, actually, Dave. I don't think I'd rub with Sam, do you? If I came in and went, it was just a bad decision, love. Oh, yeah. We should be followed by a quick fucking 1-2 on my schnoz and probably a kick in the balls, Dave. So, yeah, I don't think I get away with that.
Wayne Bobbitt style.
Yeah, Bobbitt. I haven't got lots to play with anyway, Dave, so come on. Call me Christina. But anyway, Dave, we've had a review of someone, haven't we, which is fantastic.
Oh, we have indeed. We had a very, very nice one, actually. And this was from mlindsay1, and this is from the US store. And the subject is love. And it says, I was looking for a podcast covering Temptation Island and found this podcast, and now I'm obsessed. The hosts are hilarious, and I look forward to their podcast more than the show sometimes. Excellent, witty commentary. I'm constantly laughing out loud. Which is brilliant, Chris. And I must admit, with some of the shite that we watch, I look forward to us discussing it more than I'm enjoying the actual episode. But no, absolutely brilliant, that. And thanks so much. And again, call out if other people can go on to iTunes or Apple Podcasts, as the kids call them nowadays, and drop us a review. That's always lovely. And make sure you subscribe to us, so every time we release a new show, you'll get that straight to your phone or tablet, whatever you listen to us on.
Oh, brilliant stuff. Yeah, and if you do want to support us, guys, we do have a Patreon. We've got 3 wonderful people who've supported the show on Patreon so far. We thank them and thank all of you guys as always. You know, there's no commitment to join our Patreon. It's just nice that people what give us a little bit back, and it just helps us carry on the show, doesn't it, Dave? Which is great. So we've got the wonderful Kent Gustafsson, we've got Lucky Lulu Green, who are both producers, and we've got the amazing Lauren, who is still buying us coffees, Dave. So thank you, Lauren. That's so good of you for following us. And it's patreon.com/CD RealityCast. And if you do want to email us whether you agree, disagree on anything to do with the show, cdrealitycast@gmail.com. And if you give us a follow on social media @cdrealitycast.
Awesome. Now, what are our predictions for next week, Chris? We kind of know which way. We've discussed a bit about Tom and Chelsea. You know, that's going to be very awkward. That's going to be office levels of awkwardness, isn't it? But great to watch. What do you reckon for Julian? Well, actually, first off, you know, Kendal and Erika, because it hasn't finished this week.
Dave, as a great mohawked, gold-wearing man once said in Rocky 3, pain. I think the only one who's going to be in pain is Erika. Kendall's going to walk away with his head held high, and Erika, I'll be amazed if she walks off, Dave. I'm praying that that's what happens, just for her own mental health and that. But yeah, I think they're not going to be together. I do. I really do. I know they've painted a picture like she's going to forgive him. She's not going to forgive him. It's reality TV 101, this. So please don't buy into the fact that that's not going to happen. I think we're going to get Tom and Chelsea's going to be explosive. We may even get the security guards coming in to break them two up, Dave. I think it's going to go right off. All Chelsea's going to do.
She's too passive aggressive for that. She's not actual aggressive.
Dave, you never know. I'm praying. We need a good bit of summer. I think she's going to blame everything on Tom. Her whole actions are a reaction to what he's done. They're not going to be together. And we're going to finish on the fairy tale of Julian and Kristen. We're going to end up with the famous song, you know, you lift me up and all that bollocks. He's going to get on one knee. We're going to have flowers. They're all going to be there as bridesmaids and best man. And everyone's going to ride off into the sunset.
Well, Chris, I think Erika will give Kendal the boot. He'll just walk outside and get a text from Nicole, and then so he won't be crying himself to sleep for too long. Tom and Chelsea, that's going to be the compelling view for next week. But the worst bit, Chris, the car crash TV, is going to be Julian proposing to Kristen, and then she's going to say no. So, but as we said, you know, this hasn't quite hit the heights of previous seasons, but I still can't wait for next week.
I think you could be right, Dave. I really do. I think, yeah, it's all looking that way, if I'm being honest. So, Mr. Horrocks, thank you so much for today. It's been absolute class, and we'll see you next time.
Bye now.
Bye, everyone.